I was born and raised in Washington State and joined the Army 12 years ago to escape the place and to travel the world. I try not to go back too often since it's a pretty depressing place, but in July of 2021, my cousin was getting married in Walla Walla, Washington, and I really wanted to attend the wedding. Plus, it was only the second time my husband had ever met my family, so we booked tickets to Portland, Oregon, visited my best friend along the way in Portland, and then drove from Portland along the old Oregon Trail to Walla Walla, Washington.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more.
And this was the Dalles, Oregon, which if you ever played the Oregon Trail, this was pretty much the last dangerous spot on the Oregon Trail game. My great-great-aunt, who was my great-grandfather's twin, also got married in this town. Random fact. And, I mean, that's all I know about the Dalles.
Side by side and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight.
And here is good old Walla Walla, Washington. When I was growing up in the 90s, it was known for the state penitentiary and a massacre. I really wanted to check out the Whitman Mission. I hadn't been there since I was a kid and I don't remember much of it, but I convinced my husband that we should go there prior to checking in at the hotel. We did a ranger guided tour, which, if you don't know, the Whitman Mission was established by 2 missionaries prior to when the Oregon Trail really started up, and they established it a little ways off the route, and they were taking in orphan children. The Whitmans adopted the young daughter of Jim Bridger, who was a famous mountain man. He was actually one of the main characters in the movie The Revenant, and he was a real frontiersman. They also took in the 7 Sager orphans whose parents died of disease along the Oregon Trail. If you haven't heard of their story, one of the survivors wrote a book called The Stout-Hearted Seven. It was written well over 100 years ago. It's a really good book, but really sad. And actually, her 2 older brothers were killed in the massacre on Whitman Mission. The Whitman massacre occurred in 1847 and it was caused by various sources of tension between the Whitmans and the local Cayuse tribe. They killed the Whitmans, some other people, and then several of the children. Now, we were a little bit disturbed to hear that the park ranger was referring to 2 of the Sager boys, 2 of the Sager orphans, who were 12 and 14 at the time, as men. And they tried to claim that no children were actually killed in the massacre, but they were, including Jim Bridger's daughter, ended up dying in captivity. The park rangers also claimed that the 2 Sager boys, being 12 and 14, were considered men back then in the 1800s, but that is definitely not true. I've read many books that were set in the 1800s, many nonfiction books, and that is just a complete falsehood. The wedding was really nice. It was outdoors, and then the reception was inside. There was lots of drinks and dancing, so it was pretty fun. Until my brother got drunk and decided to start white boy dancing. The next day, we rented a boat and split the costs between the 6 adults. We rented this in the Tri-Cities. The Tri-Cities are Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco. Fun fact, General James Mattis is also from the Tri-Cities. And the Tri-Cities is also famous for not just gun violence, but for the discovery of some ancient bones in 1996 that were called the Kennewick Man. When I was a kid, we used to rent jet skis in eastern Washington, where it was actually hot enough to go into the water. The water was still 40 degrees, but it was 100 or 90 degrees outside. A lot better than western Washington. And we used to go inner tubing behind the jet skis. We never water skied, but this is definitely something I would like to do in the future. I did buy my dad a pair of used water skis from Goodwill and had them shipped to him for $40. The skis were only 10, so it was a pretty good deal. I also hope to use those next time we come to Washington.